Hey guys, thanks for coming on and listening to us, and um, just taking a minute to listen to our video. It won't be very long, but we just wanted to get on here and update everyone on the information regarding our mother's disappearance. She has been missing since the afternoon of January 2nd, 2021, and was reported missing on January 3rd, 2021. She was not put out into the system until January 4th, 2021, um, and had already been missing before that date. So we're just going to summarize what we kind of put together from going down there, what we were able to accomplish going down there, the places that we called, etc., and just update y'all to either comfort you or so that you have at least a little bit of answers. We don't have much as we would like, but we're going to give whatever we can. We also want to get this video out and it to be shared as much as possible, so that way we are able to get more assistance, we are able to get help, and that they see the importance of everything that we're trying to do and how serious we are in the regards to our mother being missing, Marlena Mizell, um, and just to continue sharing any other posts or anything else that you've been doing already. So now I'm going to give it to Megan. She has some information to share on all of this, and she can go ahead and explain that now.
So, for those of you who don't know, we are the daughters of Marlena Mizell. She also has a son who is not here with us at the moment. But I wanted to start off by just giving you a picture and an idea of who our mother is. I actually spoke with her an hour and a half before she disappeared. It was the morning of Saturday, January 2nd, 2021. We spoke for just a few minutes on the phone, and excuse me, it was nothing really out of the ordinary. I asked what she had planned for the day. She didn't really have any big ideas, but she knew that she was going to have to be moving out of where she was staying. So, what she was doing in the moment and mostly had planned was just to clean and pack all of her stuff. I spoke with some witnesses on the 8th of January and was informed that our mom was seen leaving towards Pagosa Springs just shortly after the phone call I had with her.
And I had actually spoke to her the day before, so I hadn't, spoke to her that day, but that day before, it was because she had said Happy New Year's and everything pretty early on New Year's Eve, but we were at a friend's house or whatever, and I ended up texting her back that next morning, and told her Happy New Year's and explained to her, or actually asked her, like, same thing as Megan did, like, what are y'all going to be doing? Are y'all coming back to Texas, or and she was doing the same thing even that day, kind of cleaning, getting stuff together, and organizing. She's very organized, always been that way. The stars on the chore chart, top of mom, like couldn't do everything, but she tried to keep everything like pretty together, pretty in order.
And safe. She was always worried about her phone dying. She was always worried about running out of gas or hitchhikers or anything like that. She wouldn't even really drive if the rain was coming down too hard. She'd pull over and wait because she was just a safe person when it came to being out, especially by herself. So later that day, the day she disappeared, I became even more worried. I found out that her phone had been turned off and had been off since the late afternoon, early evening of the 2nd, which is unusual. I speak to her through text and phone call at least every other day. She's very involved. She is just your all around grandma, honestly. She's got so many grandbabies, and she's found a way to balance it out and
Probably
be
like
here.
10 plus, I mean, like 7 or 8,
Yeah.
grandkids within a, 3 to 4 year time period, so whenever she was around them, she was pretty busy, and, she was taking turns going from my sister's to my place because we live in the same area, and just, getting to spend time when she could with them. But like she said, when she would run over to my house, she would be running in the house to charge her phone. She would be running, trying to double check her stuff because she was driving a lot. She wanted to make sure that she had her car charger, and there was even one time where I just gave her my plug-in so that she would make sure she had it, and then I got another one later. So that just is more details as to how her routines were.
And the reason why we find it so important to emphasize on this detailed information just of our mother is because we do know that her phone has been off. There has been no phone calls or cell phone tower data that has been reached from that. And it's been 17 days, and that there's just no way our mom would do this willingly. And we are very afraid for her. We're afraid for her
What she's
safety.
been going through in this
And
time, where she's been, like how hurt she is. I mean, there's a lot of things to think about in 17 days, and without getting any information from anyone as to like it being closer, even on that next week, or hearing anything about calls from anywhere that any local authorities have called as to get us information on if someone else saw her, if the next town saw her, if anyone saw her past that point, as to where did she even leave town officially? Did she go anywhere else? I mean, did she try to go to Pagosa? Was there people questioned asking any of those questions?
and we would also like to bring up that within the first week time period of us realizing our mother had disappeared, we were calling all of the local places and departments I'm going to list off to you. There are some that have not been listed, but I will just start the list on what we have done. The missing persons report was filed on January 3rd, 2021. Starting with Sheriff Hosselcuss from Mineral County, Colorado, South Fork Police Department. I called and spoke with a corporal there on January 4th before anyone had even reached out to me. South Fork Fire Department, Detective Naval in Pagosa Springs, Lieutenant Brown in Pagosa Springs, CBI. There is a list of 6+ junkyard and towing places that we called in case someone had tried to park the car off before South Fork Police Department had notified anyone. Southern Ute Reservation, Detective Richard, Hickory Apache Reservation, Northern New Mexico Independent, 3 different SAR search and rescue companies.
From Texas to Colorado to New Mexico, every single one, including, some of their coordinators, which they weren't getting enough information either from the authorities, or they weren't getting enough information to feel like they even needed to go check, which we did have somewhere closer, and we'll talk about in a minute, but we did actually go on foot ourselves out there with local authorities and with the local community of Apache Nation. I also, from home, probably on that second or third day after being notified of her even being missing, I did immediately start getting on the phone, calling the reservations that were in the area, because it's, southern Colorado, New Mexico area, but started calling every single person, in those areas that I could, to see, what they'd be able to do. There were people out driving the roads out there that lived in those cities and in the cities nearby that had been checking and driving for a week. None of these people were assigned to any part of the case or anything. They were just locals that were willing to help until we could get there.
Yes, I'm not sure if you mentioned the reason why we were out there is because um, we have reason to believe that the phone may have been traced out down those highways. And when we drove out there multiple times, we knew from the bottom of our hearts, without question, there is no way our mother would have randomly driven 3 hours plus away into the middle of nowhere where the next gas station is 60 more miles without her phone charger, without her dogs, without anything, without her big coat that she wore every
Not on
day.
her normal route to Texas, didn't stay in her normal hotel because we were at least able to like try to call and see, if she had, whatever. Like, I mean, we weren't totally leaving out maybe for the first 2 days, or at least the first
Mm-hmm.
night, because we still would have thought she would have had her phone on. That, after those first 3 days, anything that we knew about her specifically was that she was in danger and she was not going out there by herself. We drove 15 minutes off the highway that it says she was, I guess, turned on to. And even after 15 minutes, you don't get to another gas station or anything else for a good hour, at the least, like 45 to 50 minutes. And you would have to look up every bit of information, website, whatever, to direct you correctly if you're not from there. And then just driving onto, private land or anything
Mm-hmm.
out there, they would have already figured that out. So
Yeah.
it ruled out anything, even if someone was upset or whatever, which she wasn't to anybody else that she talked
Mm-hmm.
to, um, you know, where she had been last seen, she was, fine. She was fine when she talked to my sister. So just, she would have had to have looked up
Mm-hmm.
anything in order to even know where she was out there.
And for those of you who are smokers, our mom smoked a pack of cigarettes every day. Her income was very small, and there is no trace of her spending any money at all since the second.
And this information that we're giving out is all public information that's been on the flyers the past 2 weeks. The Colorado Missing Organization,
Mm-hmm.
that puts together flyers, helped us put together those. They have worked with us from the beginning, and they have changed and done everything. Every time we needed to change something, like adding a picture of the car, correcting any typos, they would do it immediately. Um, but yeah, all that information has been since, that first week out to everybody. So,
I speak for myself, but possibly my sister as well, about the feelings of just being utterly terrified of knowing that your mother is not only missing, but she could be in pain every day. She could be already deceased somewhere, and she could be just alone. The pain that resides within our hearts as we're trying to still be mothers ourselves is undescribable. The pain that came from us as we discovered more and more, that we were the first to contact even the next town over, with their police department, is a terrifying feeling. We feel like we are in this alone, and we need help. We're trying to reach as many people, news station volunteers, donators, anybody that can just share this video, share our mom's story, Marlena Mizell. She is out there, and we want her to stay with this world and not just become a cold case.
also, along the way, we have made some friends. There has been still good people out there. There's communities of people that helped us. They didn't know us. They acted like it was their own mother.
Mm-hmm.
And before we got to that fourth or fifth day is the fifth day.
Yeah, the
Until we
fifth
got
day.
there the fifth day, besides just, cooperating with, whoever we were talking to, trying to respect them, whatever they told us. And but other than that, like even trying to simply hang, her picture at a gas station, we would get turned down at. And when we were with the people that didn't know us much,
Mm-hmm.
they really started to see like all of our stories would sound made up. Like, no, people
And they
wouldn't do
had
that.
just heard about this 2 weeks later.
And they were the two cities over. So, but these people were really willing to jump in their cars, not knowing this
Mm-hmm.
person's even last name, barely probably being able to say their first name, and were ready to just do this because they really truly believed us deep down. We were out there on our own,
Mm-hmm.
driving for,
For
3 to 6
2 days.
3 to 6 hours each time, and walking 2 days. Thankfully got an extra day because of the other people helping with our transportation, that we were able to search for a whole nother day down that highway. And what seemed like to other people a needle in a haystack. It's a haystack. I can't even say that. Haystack.
Yeah.
Whatever, haystack. We actually saw a lot of hay rope out there. That was, just seeing anything really is kind of
But
scary to us right
they
now.
knew that if there was a chance, they were going to help. And we are asking for more people with compassion and empathy, like those volunteers did in that community that I will not mention at this time. We still have a GoFundMe set up so far from the donations that were generously given to us.
And I will post those links below, or put it out on here along with the flyer or anything else, just so that can get shared as well. We're
Mm-hmm.
trying to go from different avenues because um, we had to come back home. We have kids and we have to be mothers too, and trying to be with your own kids, you know, feeling like that is very difficult, but we've been able to do that still, and power through it. But we need eyes and ears when we're not there. We need
Mm-hmm.
trusted souls that really believe and trust our word, and trust our word about our mother. We know we're not trying to pin up this, like, perfect angel saint that's like glowing, and whatever. But she really is a beautiful person, and all she ever wanted was to be able to have her grandchildren come to her home and to try to have a good, stable life. So we're trying to do everything to make sure that can still come to fruition.
Yes. And even if you think what you're doing by sharing or commenting or donating, even $5 doesn't help, I promise you it is helping. We've been able to get down there by flight, rental cars, stayed in cabins. We were able to eat and provide for the volunteers. These are all things that we're going to need until this case is solved, and
Or
we need your
until we
help.
get help from, until there's anything that comes up to where they will decide to help us with this case, to decide that maybe an area is worth checking with SAR, or anything else. We just really don't know. We do get and understand the protocols and everything else. We have heard that a million times. We have heard about phone pings and things a million times. How to search her car, all those things we have gone over. We are just going to throw that out there. But that's not really, I mean, that's just not getting us anywhere. And if this was so easy, then where is she at, and why hasn't she been found?
And we believe in our hearts, especially when I spoke to her on that day on the phone, that she was not even planning on leaving. And again, the reason why I believe that is because I have her coat that she put on every day I was there for this past Christmas 2020 with my son, and that coat is in my hands.
In
She
double
does
bags,
not have it.
sealed tight, in case we come across someone who does want to help us with dogs or
Mm-hmm.
anything else, any way of getting even close to where she might have been, or even looking where she was supposedly said to leave, like anywhere they can sniff out, if they whatever. We're trying to save that, because that's where we're at with this. We know so much about our mom and so much about the situation,
Mm-hmm.
that we're having to come to terms with
And
the
we
fact
cannot
that
share all the
she
details with y'all.
may not be here. Not, we want to have those things prepared, um and that is hard, and honestly it really does suck. But if it comes to that, we're gonna have to meet that too. So this is us just trying to express that. Hopefully that gives the family enough information. Obviously we look tired, and we hope it made sense. Just be a nice human. It's a great shirt for today.
Just need a little more love to be shared, guys.
And we know a lot of people are out there praying. They've been praying as soon as they heard of anything, and there was churches praying, friends praying, just everybody. And although we may not be able to see a sign of to get close to her or anything else right now, I know that God's out there watching her, and we're just trying to be as patient as we possibly can. So thank you, and thank you for listening to the message today.
Thank you. Please share.
Bye.